Around the House.
Welcome to the Around the House with Eric G. Pro Insider Podcast. This is for all of you out there that are in the building and building materials trade, whether you're a designer, contractor, builder, remodeler, sales, architect. This is for you. Happy Thursday, everybody. Well, today's episode is going to be about having that business partner. Maybe you're going to start your own business. Maybe you've got somebody that wants to invest in your business. And this is a really important one here because this is like a proverbial minefield that I'd like to see if I can help you manage. Because I'll be 100% honest and full disclosure, I have failed at this in the past at times. And those life lessons have cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars and a lot of wisdom in the long run. So let's talk about that a little bit today. You know, many times you want to start out a project to start a new business. And maybe you don't have the cash flow. Maybe you don't have the bankroll. Maybe these things are not yet in your field to do this all by yourself. And I completely understand that. Many times the planner, the brains of the organization does not have the financial strength to be able to pull that off. And then you bring in that investor, the business partner, whatever. And before you even entertain the thought, this is where I'm going to give you my first rule. And this is a rule that I made a mistake on one time and it cost me dearly. Always, no matter how well you know them, if you have a business partner, do your research, period. Background check. I want to see how many times they've had everything from a DUI to a lawsuit against them. Do they have a drug history? What is that story? Because I tell you what, just going off of good faith could be your most expensive mistake you make in that business. I made that business mistake myself. I thought I knew somebody. I didn't. I went off of the persona that they wanted you to be able to believe, not knowing that there was a trail of lawsuit destruction behind them. Alcohol and drug addiction problems, major character flaws, issues. And you know something? Those are things that you have to learn the hard way sometimes. So I don't want to see you go down this road and get burned on it. So if you've got somebody that's wanting to maybe invest in your business, many times you've already got a good business model or a good plan and somebody wants to come on board and help you along. That's one thing. Now, if you're trying to bring on an investor, this can be even harder because if they're going to have some control, this is where you've got to be careful because having a business relationship is like a marriage, but worse. Here's the thing. You can literally have a business partner and they could come in and they have keys to your building. If one night they want to call up the locksmith and say, hey, I need to have this all relocked and I'm going to take over the building, legally they can do that. And now you have to address this in a civil court. There's no business police for you to call up to get your stuff back. So now you have to do this in the courts, which means attorneys, which means so many other things. So really think about it before you get even into big discussions. Okay, what is this person like? What are they like under stress? How deep are their pockets? How is their family? How do they handle stress? What are those things that make them tick? And how many times have they burned other people in their past? Those are some very big signs that you should pay attention to. And I tell you what, this can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's a mistake I personally made, so I understand it. And you could make it very easily too. So think about that one first. Okay, business partner, what do I want to do? Second of all, have a really good attorney write up your contract. That way you know that it's bulletproof, you're well represented. Make sure that they have an attorney that goes through it on their side. Make sure that everybody is in full understanding. Now, the other thing that I want to put in here that you should make sure that you have figured out is make sure that you have how the divorce is going to go worked out beforehand, almost a business prenup. If you, a business owner, and your investor partner, however you want to call it, are going to break up and go your separate ways, have that spelled out in the document, 100% how that's going to go and what are the steps and who pays who, or potentially who could pay who at the end of it. Sometimes, and this is what you got to be careful with, that partner will come in and lend you $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, but they could be getting down the road $1 million worth of assets. How does that breakup go? Where does it break up? What are the points that you're basing that off of? Make sure that you have that understand before you get the check for the investment into your company. So like I said, I want to see you have a great business attorney that's going to lay this stuff out correctly. How do you value things? All of that. That should be dialed in before you two are quote unquote in business together. Now make sure and follow your state laws. Sometimes those can be spelled out automatically. That if you're an investor, you have to put this paperwork in, depending on where you're located and how they do it. Those are things to keep in mind. But be very careful. When in doubt, I would lean towards the not having a business partner versus having a business partner. That is my automatic thing I steer into when it comes to this. You got to be careful. You got to be careful because money makes people do crazy things sometimes. And in my situation, it just kept getting out of control where you've got somebody that's clearly got some emotional issues, and then you put that business relationship on top of it. I really made my mistakes in the past getting into business with somebody like that. And so you too can make that simple mistake. So it's just something to think about when it comes to that business relationship. And make sure that there's a balance there to it. If someone's going to come in and buy in and, hey, I'm coming in and I'm going to buy so much of the stock of your company for X amount, are they buying something that's worth that? Are they undervalued? Is it overvalued? What is it? That's where you want to have that really good business attorney to come in and go, no. Our evaluation says it's worth X, Y, and Z. Not what your ego says it is, but what the actual cash value is. And sometimes that's nothing because you're just talking about an idea. And then, of course, you need to have the flexibility to go back and figure it out and make sure that that gets updated from time to time because your business plan could be working so much better than you thought and you need to address things differently. Or on the vice versa, it could be working horribly and it's not going well. And now all of a sudden you're at another, point along the road where you're supposed to be measuring it and that measurement is not there, where it's not ready to be measured and you just haven't gotten the growth where you want it. Very likely in a business, that's what's happened. So think about that business partner. Maybe you've got one now that you want to get rid of. Find out what it's going to take to make that happen. Can you buy them out? But once you're connected to the hip, just like Siamese twins coming out of the womb, it's going to take a lot of surgery and a lot of pain to get that taken apart in a healthy way of doing it. All right, everybody, have a great Memorial Day weekend. Those were my quick little tips on making sure your business partner is exactly what you want it to be. And make sure and catch the regular radio show and podcast this weekend of Around the House. We'll be on the radio Saturday as well as episodes 1 and 2 coming out on the podcast. Not a best of show this weekend. It is another brand new version of Around the House with Eric G. and Caroline B. All right, everybody, stay safe out on the job site. Have a great time. Enjoy the rest of the week. Hopefully you have a relaxing weekend and celebrating those people and memorializing those people that gave so much on Memorial Day to give us all the joy that we have here in freedoms today. Have a great rest of the week. Thanks for listening to Around the House.